Hey everybody, we're live, and I'm pleased to introduce once again my friend Seneca Scott. And Seneca is one of the people who, actually, arguably, the first person, other than the judge, to push forward for the recall of Oakland Mayor Sheng Thao. And and I cannot let this go by without noting the significance that we're having this discussion on Juneteenth. Seneca, tell us the news from your perspective. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Well, my perspective is this, and again, it is appropriate that we're having this discussion on Juneteenth. The Black and Brown community, but especially the Black community, has had our political agency stripped from us. We've had our names used in vain for performative politics, for people who sit in City Hall, who never come down to Deep East Oakland, who don't care about Deep East Oakland. I'll give you a quick example. The new Ballot Stadium had an RV fire outside of it this week. That RV was cleaned up in less than 24 hours, like it never existed. Meanwhile, not even a half a mile away on Wood Street, half a mile from the stadium, there are over seven RVs that have been sitting burned out, some of them for months. You go to Deep East Oakland, it's a verified war zone with RVs sitting 3 to 4 months, like burnt out shells that they got hit by bombs in Ukraine or on the Gaza Strip. So it is absolutely irresponsible for this government. They're not operating in good faith for the people. And it was the Black people who had our votes thrown away during that election. If you recall, there was a map. I don't know if you can pull it up, but there's a map that clearly shows the 580. And the darker the red, the more mistakes made. And blue means very little mistakes were made. You had precincts in Deep East Oakland that had over 60% voter error. Over 60% voter error. If this isn't textbook disparate impact as a result of moving from 3 to 5 choices, spending zero money on voter education, and like the fact that ranked choice voting is inherently anti-democratic, I don't know what it is. So what it is today in celebration of Juneteenth is this is a referendum on these fake sellout poverty pimps who have been abusing Black Oaklanders now for too long. We are speaking for ourselves. The recall's lead proponent is Judge Brenda, retired Alameda County Superior Court Judge Brenda Harbin Forte. She lives in Deep East Oakland in the 90s. I live in the lower bottoms. You're talking to Black people who live in the communities that are impacted by these failing policies. If you look at our organizers, if you look at the videos, it's mostly people of color who are coming forward. It doesn't mean by any means that this is not a supported effort across the city. We've got lots of support across the city. Definitely in affluent places in the hills want her gone too. Her former district, District 4, I mean, they definitely want her gone, and that's Montclair in those areas. But the leadership, not the people who are signing. Keep in mind, we passed the prima facie, Zennie. This may be the most successful ballot initiative in Oakland's history. I don't think anyone's ever gotten, turned them in 7 weeks early, got 80% more than required, and then met the prima facie, which means you had very little room for error. What that means is that over 40,000 voters in record time have clearly stated that they want this mayor gone. Anyone who ignores that is a political idiot. Anyone who ignores that and tries to call those people names and right-wingers or whatever stupid crap they're cooking up is an idiot. And guess what? I love it. I hope they continue this strategy. I hope Thao continues to gaslight people and tell people that light is dark and water is dry. I hope that they continue to demonize regular neighbors in Black and Brown communities for wanting our political agency back. I hope they continue to take needless and stupid photo ops while letting their communities decay. I hope they do it all, because guess what? They're going to lose. Not only they're going to lose anyway, but this will make them lose in such dramatic fashion that no one will ever come in here under a fake progressive flag again when they dare not to make any progress in the city. You know what, Zennie? Remember Back to the Future Part 2?
Oh, I've seen it 15 times.
Remember when Michael J. Fox got back to Smallville after Biff stole the almanac?
Yeah.
What does the city look like? Like Oakland right now.
Biff World. It was Biff World. Everything was a mess.
No, it looks Sheng World. We are in Sheng World.
Right.
Go back and look at that movie. You saw homeless encampment, sideshows, fires everywhere. It looks like Oakland. You could pull it up on YouTube now if you want. It looks like Oakland. It shows you that, because here's the premise. Biff was the protagonist.
Right.
Biff was a bad, dishonest, low down, dirty person in that movie. And the moment he took power, the city collapsed.
Yeah. He was
Draw those parallels. Sheng Thao is a low down, dirty, dishonest person. And the moment she took power, the city collapsed. Proverbs 21:2 says, when the righteous leave, the people rejoice. And when the wicked leave, the people groan. Well, Oakland is groaning right now under the leadership of this mayor. But we won't be groaning for long because we will recall her in dramatic fashion this November.
My mother asked me, keeping her company here, she asked me a question that I thought was a good basic one. She said, I thought, so are they going to elect another mayor? And I said, and I was trying to explain to her the process. So could you help my mom and others out by explaining the process? Sure.
So this is not a recall when you elect another mayor at the same time. Like, you know how we had the governor recalls when Arnold was elected?
Mm-hmm.
There's only one choice on this ballot. It's, do you want Sheng Thao to continue, yes or no? If and when Oakland chooses no, then after certification of this election, the city must hold a special election within 120 days. In the interim, the city council president becomes the mayor. That means that right now, Nikki Fortunato Bass will become the interim mayor. If Nikki Fortunato Bass wins her bid for Board of Supervisors District 5, then she will be the interim mayor until she swears in January, and then whoever is the interim mayor after Bass will become the interim mayor. So there's a possibility we have two interim mayors during this 4-month period, or one, but it doesn't really matter. It's the slowest time of the year. Very little gets done legislatively. The budget's already done. And then no one's going to go ahead and try to do a bunch of stuff that they know and someone else is just going to undo, or it makes it harder for their side, because everyone's going to have a side in the special election to win. So I think it'll just be a time. And also, as we know, the mayor doesn't have a lot of power except for running the city. Mm-hmm. The city should be, and Kyle's horrible at running the city, so we'll probably be better off with just letting that guy, the new guy from Atlanta, do his thing.
Oh, Mr.
Justin Jenkins.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we better off just letting him. He's not, I think enough people have talked to him and said he's decent enough. I don't know too much about the guy. But I would say,
his last name Johnson, I believe.
Johnson, I don't remember his name. The guy from Atlanta, the new guy.
Yeah, he's from
the city administrator.
Yeah.
But without and Latanda could be the mayor. Latanda Simmons knows everything about the city of Oakland.
That would be longest, I think, yeah. Absolutely.
She's the longest tenured employee in the city. She can take over and run the city in terms of the mayor's functions of actually running the staff. City council doesn't change, and they're the ones who are the legislative body anyway. So it doesn't mean that the city even has to stop doing any legislation, because ultimately the mayor only has a tiebreaker vote, which rarely happens in Oakland politics since Measure X was passed in 1998. So I think we can probably count on two hands the number of tiebreaker votes over 3 mayors. It just doesn't happen very often. So anyway, I say all that to say, Kyle will be gone. Oakland will have an interim mayor, God willing, and we can move forward and heal and start to get our city back.
Now, what's the July 2nd discussion going to be about? I noted that.
The formality.
Council, I'm sorry.
So for city council had to actually decide when to put it on the ballot. So they could theoretically call for a special election in October. Mm-hmm. So since that's a mathematical and legal possibility, they have to account for that, and they have to make a decision as an elected body when to place this recall on the ballot. Not if, but when. But they have to do it by November, right? Yes, they can't. The way the legal timeline works, a special election will be before November, because our signatures have been certified as of June. What's yesterday? of the June 18th.
Yeah, this is Juneteenth. Yeah. So it's like
So
fascinating. So basically, for folks, this is the first time anyone in Oakland has successfully gained enough signatures to put a mayoral recall on the ballot. The last time this was tried was with Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf, but the people who wanted it only gained, I believe, 3,061 signatures, and that was it.
You mean Cat Brooks?
Yep, that's it. Right. That's
Remember when Cat Brooks said she could organize better than me? What happened?
You won.
Yeah. And remember when Cat Brooks said she was organizing because the Black community, Libby had failed the Black community?
Yep.
Well, the Black community is clearly in charge of this recall, but sellout Cat Brooks doesn't want anything to do with it because she's showing her true colors. She never cared about the Black community all along. She cared about lining her pocket. And they did, to over $8 million the anti-police terror project received the moment Carol Fife was elected. The FBI will likely be investigating these criminals soon. Not to mention that she lied on her paperwork and said that she gave Brenda $400,000 when she only gave her $200,000, and then went to correct that little mistake 2 years later on her 990. You don't make mistakes for $200,000, Cat Brooks. You're a thief. We're going to catch you. I hope she watches this and someone sends it to her. We're on to you. You guys are all going down. You guys are all poverty pimps. You guys have all been stuck in a life out of Black and brown Oakland in the working class for your own benefit, and we're going to expose you.
Oh, just doesn't know it. Cat Brooks always has an open invitation to come on my program, and I've tried to get her on. So, Cat, once again, hey, open door for you to come on.
She won't come on. She won't come on because you're gonna ask. You ask hard questions, Zennie, and Cat Brooks can't answer hard questions because she's a dishonest person.
Well, I don't.
You ask me a question, I answer it. I don't need time. I don't need word salad. I answer you directly, succinctly, or sometimes not so succinctly, but directly at minimum and honestly. She doesn't do that. Because if you ask her, why do you demonize landlords when you were charging above market rate for a 800 square foot ADU tin can that looked like Snoopy's doghouse? It's straight up gentrified, right? And then then in your ad, you said straight Black men need not apply. Well, straight Black men are the #1 demographic of the homeless.
I'm straight. I'm Black. I'm a man.
Also, that's an illegal ad, by the way.
Wow.
That's an illegal ad. You can't discriminate in your ad. Fair practice, fair housing law. So anyway, she's a charlatan. She's a crook. I doubt she ever appears on your program again. Just having me on is going to be enough for her. When you had Seneca on, I can't talk to you, Zennie, because these people think there's some kind of gods or better figures than us. They don't have to explain themselves to people. No, they're fake. She's one of the worst political figures to ever grace Oakland Street. She's taken our public safety significantly backwards. These are the people who organized protests where they sent people en masse to violently surround Libby Schaaf's house and vandalize her house. They violently surrounded Lauren Taylor's house, scared his wife and his young daughter.
Wow.
With a mob of masked, angry white people that do the bidding of Carol Fife and Cat Brooks. Since it's Juneteenth, we're going to talk about it. Yeah, they did that. I ain't forgot. They did that. They went downtown and destroyed downtown. Earl Harper's the one beat up somebody who's facing criminal battery charges. But all they do is project. These malignant narcissists, all they do is project and point the finger, but their accusations are confession. Every accusation that comes out of Carol Fife or Cat Brooks' mouth is a confession. And we have the actual receipts to prove it. We're not going to dangle you along like, oh, Harper's old dumb butt. We're going to prove these receipts later. Wait, we're going to show you. No, we're going to show you right now. I can show you receipts right now about how you guys are hypocrites. Where'd that $200,000 go? How do you get $8 million while your nonprofits are registered in Monroe, Louisiana? You're doing business in California. How come you haven't filed any of the tax paperwork you're supposed to file yet? All the stuff the bonders are harassing me for, they haven't done it either. But the difference is, I don't get any public money from my nonprofit. They get millions of dollars of public money, and they haven't been held accountable for how they spend it. They haven't followed the tax rules, and because they have friends in high places, they've been forgiven. But no longer, we're going to take those friends in high places and we're going to bring them down too if they don't go ahead and hold their little cronies accountable. And I'm talking about you, Rob Bonta. I'm talking about you, Mia Bonta. You guys are in position of influence over this city, and you are using your political preference for people who are failing the people. These people are failing us. We just put the first recall in Oakland's history on the ballot, prima facie. Prima facie. This is unheard of. This is unheard of. I dare anyone to act like the people do not want this. It is time to be honest about the destruction that the phony progressives, I call them phony because they've made no progress, that the regressive, rather, have done to this city. They have done a lot of damage, and it's not by accident. Look at Wayne Jordan. Why did Wayne Jordan pick now to start spending money buying up downtown? Because all the assets are distressed? Because buildings have dropped 60, 75% in value since 2018? So now he's picked this moment after they've spent millions politically to position the city to be less safe. This is garden variety gentrification. This is the last wave of the gentrification of Oakland, and you're letting black and brown puppets of color preside over it and pat themselves on the back like they're part of some kind of movement for the people. They don't represent the people. The people want Sheng Thao recalled. The people are signing up in growth. We could have got 70,000 signatures had we kept going to July 22nd. That would have been more signatures than anyone ever gotten votes in Oakland elected history.
And so I got to put it in perspective. There are, I believe, 125,000 working people who live in Oakland. So basically, you managed to get between 1/4 and 1/3 of the working population of Oakland to vote for this by signature, if you will. And the signatures checked out. Dan Abrams says, "Thank you, Seneca, for standing against the wicked. I hope." I saw how you were assaulted by the mayor's security people downtown. I'm not going to call names there. The groaning will stop soon. And I want to say again, I welcome everybody to come on. And one thing I am proud of Seneca about is not fearing to take the direction that he took, because, look, minutia aside about who shot who, we're in big trouble as a city. And something has to give. And I think what you hear from Seneca is, from all practical purposes, a righteous anger. Because I can remember when Oakland didn't operate the way that it has of late. You know what I mean, Seneca?
Mm-hmm.
To be congratulated for that. There are a lot of people who don't know what to do except, well, they vote with their feet and they've left. And that's it's taken a lot of money with it. Hey, so what are the next steps in terms of laying out what people should expect to see?
Sure. On July 2nd, the Oakland City Council will go through the formality of deciding when the election will be held, which would most likely be the general election. A special election suits no one. It makes it easier to recall Thao, and it costs the city money. So I just don't see any way they would do that. After that starts, we're going to be back to raising money for a war chest. I will say this. I've been hearing rumors that SEIU 1021 is going to try to spend some money to keep Thao safe. Let me tell you, SEIU 1021, please somebody send this to somebody in that organization. You give a single penny to defend this mayor, we're going to decertify you in 2025. You will not have a chapter in Oakland come 2026. I've already talked to your members. I used to represent those members. I've negotiated, fought, and bled with those members. They trust me. They voted to recall Thao. They're signing that petition. These are the same union members that they're not protecting. They had to file a safe worker ordinance because they weren't protecting their own union members. These are the own union members that they're allowing other people to do their bargaining unit work. When I was in charge of the union, if I saw goats clearing a field, I better see a process for those goats. Those goats are taking my members' job. And I love goats. I love them. I love them. But there's a process for subcontracting. Subcontracting leads to loss of employment for union members. We're allowing subcontracting to happen grossly with no checks and balances. The unions are asleep at the wheel of representing those workers. And just like Fremont workers did in 2012, who now have better compensation packages than SEIU. We will connect those workers with Fremont workers, and we will decertify you in the city of Oakland in 2025 during your election year if you go ahead and fuck with us. So go ahead and spend a single penny on this mayor and watch what happens. And if you don't believe me, just who just organized the first recall in Oakland's history, 7 weeks early, 80% more signatures needed, and passed prima facie. I don't have anything else to say. Go ahead and try it. Go ahead and try it. It'll be the worst mistake SEIU 1021 ever made. They better leave this one the fuck alone.
And I think this is the significance of what Seneca and the people that he's worked with have done. Has to be seen in the context of the recalls we've had, even in terms of governor. We haven't had many, but we've had them. We had one where Gray Davis was recalled, and that paved the way for Arnold Schwarzenegger. And this, I'm not, yeah, well, hey, but I'll be back. But the whole point, I couldn't resist.
I know the special interests.
But first of all, before I continue my next question, how much time do I have with you? Because I know you're on a schedule.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Okay, let's wrap this up then. Okay, first of all, what do you want people to know as we close out the interview with you? And thank you for your time.
This is being led by Oaklanders who have lost our political agency. Politics requires time and money. The poor and working class do not have the luxury of time, nor do we have a disposable income for pay for play. The reason you saw so few mistakes above the 580 and so many below the 580 is because every election season is elitist. All of the little programs, all of the things that happen in nice neighborhoods. They don't happen down in the hood. It's up to us to educate ourselves. It's up to the NAACP to educate our voters. And we've been doing that diligently for over a year. And now you're seeing the result of our hard organizing work to reclaim our community and get people to take their political agency back. This effort is being led by Black Oakland. If you say you care about Black Oakland, you have to support the recall. If you're going to lie and say that these 40,000 plus, many of them Black and brown Oaklanders from working class communities are now all of a sudden MAGA right wing and smear them and lie about them, you are a sellout. If you're Sabir Lockett, if you're these other people that Sheng Thao is trumping up to act like she's doing a good job and that this is a right, they're parroting all of these lies. Shame on you, Sabir. You know that this is the effort from the Black community. You're a sellout. Everyone who she has up there speaking on her behalf, you can file a public records request and find out how much money the organization is getting from the city. They're sellouts. They're bought and sold. Stop it. Stop it. Sabir Lockett, stop it. eBay, stop it. You're going to ruin your entire credibility. And I do not forget, you may be next. Your organization may be next on my target. You keep messing around with me. Keep messing around with Black Oakland. Keep messing around with these elders who can't walk the streets safe, whose stores are closing, so now they got to get on buses and Ubers to get basic medication. Keep messing around with these children who have to walk past burnt out halls of RVs and hold their nose from a toxic fume. Keep messing around with people in these streets like retired Alameda County Superior Court Judge Brenda Harbin Forte, who is an extremely distinguished lady. How do you disrespect that legacy and act like this woman hasn't contributed to her community? The shame of these people, and they're doing it for money. They are doing it for money. I'll say that again, Sabir Lockett, because you're the only one who dared put his name on it, because I guess you're a useful idiot for these flailing progressive. You still have time. You still have time.
Tell people who this person is, by the way, who may not know.
Sabir Lockett runs eBay. He's the guy with the neck tattoo, former incarcerated.
eBay stands for?
eBay, I forgot. I know you know.
No, actually, I don't.
eBay, I don't know. Pull it up. They're active, but they're basically a proxy for unions. All of these organizations work with the unions.
Cool. Is there a website for the organization and the campaign? I know there is, but
oh yes, recallshengthao.org.
Seneca, fantastic job, man. That's a go down in Oakland history. That's
thank you, Oakland. This would not have been possible without all of Oakland. Again, over 40,000 people rush to sign that.
Yeah, amazing work, man. Hey, stick around in the background, folks. We'll be back later. Subscribe to Zennie62 on YouTube. And remember, on Juneteenth, support Black-owned media. All right. Thank you for coming on. I got you. You have to move a muscle, Seneca. That ends the stream.